it's Jacqueline Bear. I am doing something a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but also a little bit in my comfort zone. I know that doesn't really make sense, but I signed up to be one of the plein air artists at a local lavender field weekend festivities, and I signed up for it a couple of weeks ago, and it's this weekend, and I'm nervous and excited and have all the butterflies and just trying to figure out all the art supplies I'm going to bring. I know I want colored pencils and paints and my sketchbook and just figuring all of that out, but I knew that I needed some more purple. I don't usually paint or draw with purple very often. I went through all of my paints and colored pencils and things, and I don't really have purple. So I ordered a few things. It sounds silly, I could just mix up my own purples, but when it comes to like the idea I have in my head of some sketches I'm going to do when I'm out there, I need purple colored pencils, and I had like 2. So I really needed a couple. I didn't go crazy, but I did get a few things, and I wanted to show that, as well as show kind of the idea of what I'm hoping to bring. And I still need to figure out my easel situation. I have a couple different ones, so I'm going to set some up, see what I think. I've never done something like this where I know that there's going to be people walking around looking like it's a whole weekend. They're going to have tours of their lavender farm. There's other flowers there. There's supposed to be breathtaking like mountain views in the distance. I haven't been to this lavender farm yet, so I'm going into it not really knowing exactly what it's going to look like, just based off of like their website and their Instagram. Very, very excited. They're doing this event to showcase all their lavender in full bloom before they start harvesting it next week. So I'm really excited and nervous. Let's dive in to the things that I got and what I'm hoping to bring with me. And I'm going to take you along this whole journey. I'm thinking this is going to be a 2-parter, where the first video is just me in the studio prepping everything, and then the second video, part 2, will be the actual lavender festival weekend. And I'm really excited to showcase all of this for you, so let's dive in. Don't mind my desk right now, it's kind of messy, and I'm figuring out which like Sälka bags I want to bring. I'm not bringing all of this, I'm just trying to figure it all out. So let's open this. So I got a couple of colored pencils and then some paints. So let's start with the paints. I got 2 of the Holbein acrylic gouache in a pale lavender and a lilac color. I think these are going to be really helpful. I am attempting to do acrylic gouache out in the field, and mixing my purples of what I currently have, I've never gotten the colors I've wanted, so I think these are going to be really, really helpful for that. And then I also got some colored pencils. So first, this Caran d'Ache Luminance in an olive brown 10%. I think that this will help me with some of my sketches. So this isn't purple, but I do have other purple ones. Oh, these are pretty. Look at that. I got 3 Holbein colored pencils. I haven't used the Holbein colored pencils before, but they were a little bit cheaper than some of the other ones, and I just wanted some purple colors. So this is in the color Wisteria. It's 430 Wisteria. This one is Sea Fog 476, and this one is Lilac 422. Now I had a lot of purple colored pencils in my cart, but I narrowed it down to these 3 to be like 2 lights, maybe a little bit medium, and then a darker one, because I do have like a medium color already in my Prismacolor. So very excited about those. I realized I don't have my phone for my top view that I like to do. That's my husband's phone, and he's gone right now. So we will do the swatching in a little bit, but I can at least showcase the things I'm thinking of bringing. So, put all these back in here. And all of my little Sälka pencil pouches, I kind of color coordinated. So I have like my blues in here, my purples and pinks and reds, and then all of my greens. And then I do have another one with browns in it. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily do that for this weekend. I might just put them all in like a field bag. I might do that because this is a little bit bigger and can hold more. So I might do that. But for now, I'll just set this over here. New colors on top. Like I said, I want to bring my acrylic gouache paints, and I have more of them. But because it is so dry in Colorado, I'm wanting to make my own Stay Wet palette. I don't have the actual palette, but I do have the sponge and the palette paper that I will be prepping. So I will show that when I work on that, probably later this week. And I'm thinking that's going to really help with my acrylic gouache. So pretty excited about that. I also have this little case of some of my favorite brushes. I really paint tiny, so I have like all my tiny brushes in here. I might grab some bigger ones, but I feel like I'm going to be painting pretty small. And then I do have this bigger watercolor like wash brush that I'm going to use because I think I want to bring watercolor as well. And I'm trying to stick to watercolor, gouache, and colored pencils because if I bring anything more, that might be too much. So in here, I just threw in all of my like designer gouaches and the Holbein gouaches as well. So I'm bringing acrylic gouache, but if that just dries way too fast, I will switch to this regular traditional gouache, and then I can still have these for like some of the purples. I don't mind mixing them. And then I wanted to make sure I have my white paints. So here's my permanent white I like to use for highlights. And then somewhere in here, yeah, is my zinc white that I like to mix my colors with. So I have gouaches and I will be putting those in there as well. I thought containers for like these paints, like this plastic container, would be easier to just have it all out rather than in a bag trying to dig for it. I think this is going to work well for this specific weekend. And then in this tin, for now I just tossed it in here. I don't know if I'll actually bring this tin. I have a couple of things. We'll get to that in a second. I want to paint some really small ones, so I'm bringing my little tin of my tiny papers because I really love painting tiny little itty bitty paintings. So I'll be taking these, and with the tape, I have like this washi tape here. I like to tape it onto these boards. So I'll probably tape like 3. So I have some preparation to do, so it's already ready. And then I can just go straight into the painting while holding this little, I think this is supposed to be like a pen protector from Peg and All to go into their pen roll. But I like to use it as a little like handheld easel. So that's what this little setup is here. I have a couple of these, but I don't think I need all of them. And then I have some other tapes. I have some masking tapes. I have this low tack artist tape. I like using different tapes depending on what I'm painting. So that's going to be helpful with my bigger sheets of watercolor paper. And then I do have my brush cleaner because I know I'll be painting a ton, so I want to make sure I am rinsing my brushes as much as I can. I really like this Masters brush cleaner. They have bigger tubs of it, but this little one suits me just fine. And then for my sketching, I have this little sandpaper block. Probably take that one off. Just start anew so that I can take my pencils without constantly having to sharpen them. Sometimes it's easier to just get the lead right on this. And then I have an extra big bulldog clip and my medium one. So I like having a variety of clips depending on what I'm using. And then I also have this Kari sketchbook easel that this slips into my sketchbook. So I could do this, and it goes in between like the pages, and then you clip it down so you can have your water here, your brushes here, and then your paint palette over here. These are little magnets. So when I'm doing like some of my sketching or watercolors, I think I might use this. And these are the two palettes I have. I have my Daniel Smith one full of my watercolor paints. You've seen this before, but I also made this gouache one. I may or may not bring this. I have the tubes over there, and sometimes these dried ones, yeah, especially this Prussian blue, it just, I'm gonna have to clean this up and prep this if I decide to bring it. But it definitely cracks a ton. Yeah, this blue one just exploded everywhere. It's all over the place. Okay, haven't opened this in a moment. So I'm gonna clean this up and see if I wanna bring it. If not, that's totally okay. I have all the colors as the tubes themselves, and that might just be easier for this particular time. And this is why I'm doing this, to kind of figure out what all I want to bring. Now for paper, I have a couple options. I have these sheets. This was an Arches hot press, really big piece of 100% cotton paper that I've just torn down into whatever sizes I'm wanting. So I have a couple of those. I have this watercolor block also by Arches. The paper parts have kind of fallen out, but I can clip it or something. But I really like this. This is also hot press. I like having a lot of smooth papers because I also have this one from Meeden that's also a watercolor pad that is hot press. And I really like this as well. They have the same amount of like slight toothiness to it when I'm feeling them. And then looking at them, clearly this one got dirty. The coloring is very similar. Yeah, this one is the 300 GSM and this is the 300 GSM. They're very similar in my opinion of feel and look. And painting on them, I haven't painted on this one too much. So once I paint and play with it more, I'll see if it's like a really good option to the Arches one. I really like it so far. So those are my paper options. Then I also have some tracing paper. It helps me when I'm trying to figure out a composition. I can just sketch and resketch and kind of move it around on the page before I do my final drawing. So even in plein air, sometimes I like to bring a little bit of tracing paper. Secondly, I like to bring some tracing paper because if you're doing something like charcoal, or I have this charcoal pencil that I like to sketch with too, placing tracing paper on top of it, like in the sketchbook, like this one, I have some in here, so that it doesn't really transfer the drawings onto each other. So I like to have tracing paper for that as well. So whether I use it as actual tracing paper to trace things, it's at least helpful for when I know I'm going to be sketching with this pencil in particular. So while I have my Stay Wet palette, I also thought to toss in my bag just this disposable palette pad. It's really helpful when I'm doing things. It even has a thumb right there so I can hold it and just paint from this. If I'm doing like the traditional gouache where it can be re-wetted, I might like to use this, so I'm gonna bring that. And then I don't know if I'm bringing this yet. This is also from Meeden. I got it a while ago. It's just a canvas pad, like it's raw canvas on one side, but then primed canvas on that side. Yeah, triple acrylic gessoed already on it. So I thought this could be fun to do a painting with, and I think it's a nice size. This is a, let's see here, a 9x12 size. So I could tape off like an 8x10 or something. I think that this could be fun. And I might be overdoing it, but I'd rather have it all because I'm not going to be close to home where I could quickly run home and grab something. And then when it comes to like my sketching portion, I have a couple of sketchbooks. These are my Royal Talons art creation ones. I have the little square one that I've used quite a bit of it. I'd say like 2/3 of it. So this could be nice for quick little sketches, especially for my little itty bitty paintings, to kind of play with the composition a little bit. I also have this one that I really enjoy. I'm only, I'd say, like 1/3 of the way through this sketchbook as well. I like doing plein air sketches. I like doing botanical and florals. I want to do some close-up drawings with my colored pencils of the lavender like stems, like a little bundle of them or something. I think that would be really, really cute and pretty. So this will be really fun to do a little sketch with. And then if I decide I want to do some gouache sketchbookness or colored pencils, I have this drawing diary by Dear Lane Co. I've been taking some of her classes. Like I was taking this class on florals specifically, and so I was doing this a couple weeks ago and just really enjoyed doing that. And this has really thick mixed media paper, so I'm thinking I might bring this one. So I'll have a couple of sketchbooks, and if I choose not to bring one, I may not bring this tiny one. I may just do these two here. Then I also have some business cards here. I made these like 2 years ago, and this is all that I have left. So this will be nice to be able to pass out if anyone wants to know anything. So I have like my email and my Instagram and my website on here. And I'm going to, on whatever easel I bring, put my @JacquelineBearArt like painted on there as well. I've seen some artists do that. So I have those to hand out. And then I'm going to make sure I have erasers and pencils. So I have like all the type of pencils I like to draw with. I prefer using these Blackwing ones. I like the lead. I like that it doesn't break on me. I like that it's squared off up here, so it usually doesn't roll away when I set it places. But I also have my Graph Gear 500 Pentel and the 0.5 lead one. I like sketching with this as well. A couple of pens, my water brush pen. I only have one of these with me right now. I need to find the other ones so that I can do some quick watercolor plein air sketches. I'm gonna be there like practically all day Saturday, so I don't want to just focus on like little tiny paintings or just one big one. I want to do quicker, more impressionist-esque type of drawings and paintings and sketches. So I think that's going to be really helpful. I have some kneaded erasers in these little tubs. I'm bringing 2 in case I lose one. I also have some like travel paint brushes. I have a couple of those, and I have this Rosemary & Co. one that I'm really excited to keep playing with. One of you gave this to me. Marcia, you bought one of my Sälka products and you sent this to me, and I'm so grateful for it and very excited to play around more with it. I've used it a little bit. Now I get to use it more. And then I have a pencil sharpener somewhere, and this is where I like to keep my shavings because my pencil sharpener doesn't have like a container within it to hold it all, so I just put them all in here. This was a little mint tin I got when I was in Vienna and went to a art museum, and so I bought little mints, and I loved this cute little tin. So that's what this is. Then I think I have, yeah, just like other plein air things. I have my little water brush, or I have my little water cup. This is very tiny. I will most likely be bringing some empty like peanut butter jars that I will be putting more water into. I also have like this little Nalgene full of water. I want to make sure I have all the water to rinse my brushes so that I'm not having to like look for it while I'm there. This is like one of those Swedish little towels that I cut in half, and this is what I wipe off my brushes with. And then my newest little tool is this view catcher. Very excited to use this. I am also going to be bringing some watercolor brushes. So I have this one, and these are all, like I said, for my gouache paintings, and I don't want to mix them, so I have these. I have 2 rounds and this flat wash brush for my watercolor. I have a Princeton Lauren in a round 8 and a Princeton Aqua Elite in a round 12. That's just what I have. I don't really have any other, like I don't have Filberts or any of those. I can look in my stash, but I don't have a lot of brushes, so that's what I'll be bringing of those. And if I figure out any more, I will I'll put it in this video. I can talk about it when the weekend comes. I'm probably overdoing it, but I don't know. I'm just very excited to do this, that I'm itching to do so many things, and it's so many hours, so I don't want to not use the hours, you know? So now I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit more and probably figure out which easel I want to bring. I have a couple of easel options. I have a couple that I have thrifted, and I've had a couple that have been sent to me over the past year or so. So I'm going to start with the smaller ones. If you remember, if you've been following me since the beginning of my YouTube journey 2 years ago, I thrifted this little easel, and I like refinished it, I cleaned it, and I stained it and everything, and I made it into where it could be attached to a tripod. So these pieces all go on here, and then I would put the connector piece here, and then it would go on the tripod. But I might be bringing that camera that you're on with me, and I only have one tripod. So maybe not. If I'm going to do it all on the phone, I could bring this to go on the tripod. I didn't think of that. Okay. But anyways, I'll show it to you. This just sits up. Then this goes on the tripod. This folds out, and then you can put like your paper and your different things. Let me grab one. So then I can have my paper on here, and then I would have to have something to hold all my art supplies. I am bringing my Sälka sling so that I can have a lot of my things just like right on me. That's going to be really helpful so that it's just attached to me. This is what I like to do, but this is usually what I do when I'm hiking. I'm not hiking for this. I'm walking out, I'm setting up. I don't have a table or a tray or anything, so I'm just going to make do with like what I have. So that's an option. I like that it's small and that it can go on my tripod, but then I'm limited on where I put all my stuff. Totally doable. I could make this work, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to use this one. So let me set that down. The other option I have is this little tabletop one. If I were to bring that tripod and I brought like a little table, I don't have like a foldable table, so I could ask a friend maybe if they have one or something. So if I brought a little table of some sort and I brought that, I could also bring this one. It's so lightweight. I thrifted this for like $5 or something, and then I could have 2 paintings going at the same time. So perhaps when one's like drying, like a layer of watercolor or something, I can move on to the other one. So I have that as an option. Then I have other easels that are even taller. This one is by Craft Geek. I have a video about this where I showed me unboxing it, and this is a super lightweight option, but also doesn't have a table of anything. Not that I had to have a table, I'm just trying to think through all the possibilities. And this one, I could paint something larger. I do have some larger canvases or something, or I have a friend who has a drawing board, and I could put a drawing board on here and then just tape all of my things to it. I don't have to paint something so large, but I could use like a drawing board or something. And I like this option being really lightweight so that I can showcase my like lightweight setup to other artists, to the people walking around. I think that this could be a really good option. I like how portable it is. Same with these. I like how small and portable they are, because my last option is this big boy, which is my French art easel. So I like this one a lot because it has like a whole drawer system where I could house everything in it, and then I just bring this. The downside to this is that it's heavy, and I will be going by myself most likely. I don't think my husband's gonna come and watch me paint for that many hours. He might come like on day 2 or something, where I'm there not as long. So I have to think about that I don't have my partner with me to help me maybe carry some stuff. So I just have to think about that, of how big of a space I want to have. I like this option, because it would be holding a lot of my paints already in it. Like even when it's all set up, I can pull the drawer out and just have things there, because my other options don't have that. I'm liking the idea of being able to have my tripod be specifically for the camera, and then taking one of these easels. I like that idea. And I'm trying to think of day 2 when we have our reception and we're going to be showcasing our stuff. I like that this has a drawer. So mostly I just like this idea because it has a drawer, and then I don't have to bring like a separate table. So I think that might be what I do. And then I might even bring this one to just have set up to the side so I can do dual paintings maybe, if I'm feeling it. We're going to see how I feel on that day. I could go and then get too hot. Like I'm going to try to find shade, but I also know they're going to have like lavender things, like lavender lemonade and lavender ice cream, because we have like a local ice cream parlor place here that's going to be serving up ice cream, which I'm going to be trying all the lavender stuff. Those are my options for my easels. So I'm going to have to like set them up and kind of think through it. But I do want to do a swatch of everything that I'm bringing from my paints and my colored pencils. So I will be doing that later today, maybe tomorrow. And then also my Stay Wet palette. So I have a few things that I just need to figure out. But this helped me at least kind of narrow down on all the art supplies down to just the few little things I want to do. Not few. Are you that way too when you go out to plein air paint? I'm really good at being like, no, I'm just going to use this small amount, like fit everything in one thing or something. But because this is an event and I'm potentially going to be selling some of this artwork, I'm trying to put in more thought behind everything. And I hope it pans out. I'm very excited to do it. So I'm going to think on these easels. I think I'm gonna make myself some lunch, think it through. The event is in a couple days, so I'm trying to quickly make these decisions. But I will swatch soon, so see you soon. So I'm going to swatch the new purple colors that I got. So I have my sketchbook here, and then I also just have some of these little pads of paper. I got this when I was in Sweden, and it's the 300 GSM size A6 like watercolor paper. So I thought that both of those would be good to just test out these new colors that I got. So I got all of these colored pencils, as well as these 2 new acrylic gouache paint colors. So I think I'm going to start with the colored pencils. So this sketchbook has a little bit of a ivory like cream color to it, and then this has like a more stark white, so that's why I kind of wanted to test them on both. I have this Caran d'Ache Luminance series in the color olive brown 10%. I got this because it has a little bit of a green tint to it. That's really nice. I like that. And then I got these 3 Holbein colored pencils. Also, let's just appreciate how pretty these are. I really like this little gold band happening right there. It's similar to like my Faber-Castell Polychromos, where it also has like this gold band. I just think that looks really pretty. This is the Sea Fog. It is this beautiful purpley with a little bit of like gray in it. And a smidge of like pink, I'd say. Then I have Lilac, which is just the perfect like pastel light purple. These are really smooth too. They're not like crazy smooth, but they're definitely smooth. And then last I have Wisteria, which is going to be a little bit darker of a purple. But still on the light end, I do have a much darker purple. Those look really nice. And then I did want to grab the two purple ones I do have of Prismacolor. I have this violet and this Parma Violet. So let's do the Parma Violet. It's going to be a little darker. And then this violet color, which is the darkest that I have. But I also know that when I'm doing the flowers, there's going to be more colors than just purple. There's going to be blue undertones, pinks, whites, grays, like greens, like there's more to than just one color of a flower. But with only having these two purples, I really wanted some of these lighter ones. And I think that helps complete my set just a little bit. And I'll write down what these are. So there are all the colors. These top four are the ones I just got, and these are the two that I have. But in case you want to screenshot that, there it is. So now I want to swatch these on some white paper so you can kind of see the difference, but I'll just do that more quickly. And this is more textured paper, so possibly I should have done smoother paper, but at least you can see the color on the white. So now you can see the difference in the color when it's on a cream background versus a much whiter background. So that always comes into play when you're doing your drawings with your colored pencils, knowing what your background's going to be. Now I'll be sketching more with them, so I'm okay with it being on this cream color. I like that. But that's just what those look like. Now I want to play with these. So I have my paintbrushes here, and then I also have this old ice cream Talenti jar that has my water in it. I'm just going to get them right out of the tube instead of using up a palette. Ooh. It's a little bit more blue than I initially thought, but it does say pale lavender, so I think it's going to be really pretty. Just right here on this sheet, so you can kind of see what it looks like on like a cream background. I don't usually use my gouache in my sketchbook, but I just wanted to show that to you. Now I want to get this lilac color, which is going to be very helpful. Like I had mentioned before, out of the colors I have with my reds and blues to be able to make purple, it's been kind of a struggle for just the colors I have. So to have a ready-made color, I just really wanted for this particular, oh yeah, that's pretty, for this lavender event. Yeah, that's going to be so perfect. So let's write down what these are. Perfect. So I took my mat out from underneath to make this look a little prettier for some pictures. But this is the swatches of the new supplies I got specifically for this plein air event. I hope that you liked that. I think that it's going to be so fun, so stick around. I will be doing a part 2 that I will be putting out of the actual event. I am still 2 days out before I do it, so very excited. I'm going to play around, I think, a little bit with these just to kind of get familiar with them, and I think it's going to be so fun. So I'm really happy that you're here. I hope you like this video, and I will see you very soon. Cheers.